Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the profound, mind-bending metaphysical depths of the Mahaparinirvana Sutra to, well, unravel the true nature of reality itself. This text is an absolute masterpiece of ancient philosophy. It is packed with striking metaphors and radical, paradigm-shifting ways of looking at the world around us. We're going to decode exactly what this ancient wisdom has to say about human suffering, the illusions we deal with every single day, and the ultimate unchanging truth that's sitting just beneath the surface of everything. Let's get started. Okay, so the text kicks things off with a super powerful dialogue that lays down a core foundational premise. The root of all human entanglement and suffering is simply craving. We often think our daily struggles are caused by, say, bad luck, or other people, or our environment, but the text argues no way. Those aren't the primary cause. The fundamental engine that drives the five aggregates, which is basically just a fancy term for our entire physical and mental existence, is our relentless desire. Craving is quite literally the glue that binds us to the cycle of suffering. To navigate these incredibly vast concepts today, we're going to follow a structured journey through five core themes: the roots of craving, one path, many forms, the depths of wisdom, the two truths, and finally, ultimate reality revealed. Moving right into Section 1, the roots of craving, understanding our entanglement. So the text doesn't just casually say desire is bad. It vividly illustrates how destructive and sneaky worldly desires actually are, using 9 highly visceral metaphors. Craving is compared to a rakshasa, a demon wife who eats her own children and then devours her husband. That is a brutal metaphor for how desire consumes our good deeds and ultimately destroys us. Or think about an unpaid debt. Even if you pay off 99% of it, that tiny lingering remainder keeps you trapped. That's exactly how craving functions. It looks beautiful like a delicate flower, but there is a venomous snake coiled right around the stem. It's a strangling vine that kills the very tree it climbs on. It is a massive wake-up call to look much closer at the things we think will make us happy. That brings us to Section 2, One Path, Many Forms, the Pedagogy of the Buddha. Here, the text tackles a really fascinating question. If there's only one ultimate truth out there, why are there so many different teachings, names, and methods? Why isn't the truth just stated in one simple, uniform way? Well, the answer is beautifully simple. Think of a doctor who prescribes water under different names: ginger water, licorice water, or just hot water, based entirely on what the patient needs. Or a goldsmith who shapes the exact same lump of gold into totally different ornaments, like chains, rings, or crowns. The teachings take many different forms, but they share one pure essence. The message is completely customized to the listener. If you're burning with anger, you get the cooling water. Frozen with apathy, you get the ginger water. It's all just water, skillfully adapted to cure whatever is ailing you. Regardless of the specific name used on the surface, the underlying path is a singular, flexible tool designed to fix the specific afflictions of the listener in that exact moment. You might hear it called the Eightfold Path, or mindfulness, or the 10 powers. And honestly, it's so easy to get caught up in the taxonomy, right? Arguing over which path is the real one. But the text urges us to look right past those labels. These variations aren't contradictions at all. They are proof of a highly adaptive system meant to meet people exactly where they are. On to Section 3, the depths of wisdom, middle versus supreme. Now, what's super interesting here is how the text categorizes our understanding of reality into different tiers. It totally acknowledges that not everyone perceives the truth at the same resolution. There's this striking metaphor used. What was taught to the masses is merely a handful of leaves compared to the vast, incomprehensible forest of total realization. Just imagine standing in a massive, endless jungle, and your guide hands you 3 or 4 leaves just to show you what a leaf is. Those leaves? That represents the entirety of the teachings we actually have access to. The forest is the true, boundless scope of ultimate reality. It's a profoundly humbling thought, really reminding us not to mistake our little intellectual frameworks for the totality of the universe. And this builds into a very clear hierarchy. You have middle wisdom, which grasps the basic facts. You understand that actions have consequences and that certain paths reduce pain, which is fantastic, but it's just the start. Supreme wisdom, on the other hand, comprehends the infinite, immeasurable complexities of existence. It doesn't just look at the leaf, it understands the entire biochemical process of the forest, the soil, the infinite variations of conditions that brought that one specific leaf into existence. Supreme wisdom sees the boundless interconnectedness of the whole shebang without being overwhelmed by it. Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, the two truths, conventional and ultimate. So the Bodhisattva Manjushri poses a pivotal question about the very nature of truth itself. If we're dealing with leaves and forests, how do we categorize the reality we interact with every day versus the profound reality of an awakened mind? This is where we define the two truths. Conventional truth relies on worldly names and labels. It's the practical, everyday stuff we all agree on just to function in society. Ultimate truth, however, is the underlying reality stripped completely bare of those artificial constructs. Think of it like this. A house is a conventional truth. We all agree on the word. But ultimately, it's just a temporary arrangement of wood, stone, and empty space. If you take it apart piece by piece, at what exact point does it stop being a house? The label is useful for sure, but it is not the ultimate reality of the materials. The explainer actually breaks conventional truth down into these 5 specific categories, and it really shows how we are constantly inventing reality just to get through our day. We create names for things like houses or people. We create sentences to structure our thoughts. We create bindings like shaking hands or tying a knot to signify relationships. We create signals like striking a bell to mean, hey, time for lunch. We even create attachments, like judging someone's entire character based on the robes they wear. None of these things are fundamentally real in the absolute sense. They're just a complex matrix of agreed-upon fictions that we all live inside. Now, to truly grasp the ultimate truth, we have to compare it side by side with the conventional. What we perceive as death, decay, cutting, or burning on a worldly level, it simply doesn't exist in the ultimate framework. In our conventional world, things break, people age, and suffering feels intensely, undeniably real. But the ultimate view recognizes that energy and fundamental reality cannot be destroyed. It merely transforms. There is no dying because the fundamental nature of reality was never actually born in the conventional sense. It's a radical shift in perspective that completely unplugs you from the fear of physical destruction. And finally, Section 5, Ultimate Reality Revealed, the grand finale. So if the conventional world is just an illusion of labels, and our craving is what traps us in that illusion, what is actually left when you strip all of it away? Well, the text emphatically states that true reality has 0 distortions. It has no falsehoods. It represents a singular, absolutely pure state of existence. It uses the term uninverted, which basically means it's completely right side up. Unlike our conventional lives where we're constantly running after things that hurt us, convinced they'll bring us joy, true reality is the absolute, unshakable bedrock of truth. And here is the grand revelation. Ultimate reality is defined by permanence, bliss, true self, and purity. Now, this is a massive defining moment in the text because it's a total reversal of our normal, suffering-filled conventional existence. It's even a reversal of basic teachings that normally focus on impermanence and non-self. The ultimate underlying Buddha nature of reality isn't just some empty void of nothingness. Once you finally get past the conventional illusions and drop the craving, the ultimate reality is permanent, it is absolute bliss, it is a true, unshakable self, and it is perfectly pure. However, there is a catch. The text issues a very strong warning against what it calls outer path misconceptions. People hear words like permanence, bliss, self, and purity, and they immediately map them right back onto their conventional desires. They mistake the endless grinding cycle of karma for permanence. They mistake eating a really good meal or having a moment of fun for ultimate bliss. They mistake their fragile, aging bodies and anxious minds for the true self, and they mistake hoarding wealth for purity. The text is crystal clear on this. You absolutely cannot find ultimate attributes in temporary, worldly things. Trying to do so is exactly what throws you right back into the cycle of craving. So I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder today. Are you trapped by the conventional labels of craving, just reacting to every signal and judging every label around you? Or are you striving to see the ultimate truth hidden beneath all of it? The Mahaparinirvana Sutra challenges us to stop clinging so tightly to that handful of leaves and start waking up to the vast, permanent, and blissful forest that has literally been surrounding us all along. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope it sparked a totally new way of seeing your reality. Catch you next time.